It's 6:30. Welcome to tonight's webinar. The UEMS section of surgery has organized this webinar. My name is Oliver Gim. I'm a professor of surgery working at the University of Linköping in Sweden, and I will be the moderator of tonight's webinar. I am also the chairman of the Division of Endocrine Surgery of the UEMS section of surgery, and I have the pleasure and the privilege to present two internationally well-known endocrine surgeons who will present tonight's webinar, which has the title 10 Years of Eurocrine Registry on the Way to a European Quality Benchmark. And the presentators are Professor Jesus Maria Villa del Moral from Granada, Spain, and Professor Özer Makay from Izmir, Turkey. Before we start, I have some housekeeping informations. I hope you can see us and also can hear us. We can't see you and we can't hear you, but you can still ask questions using the question and answering button at the bottom. I hope you're familiar with Zoom by now. So at the very bottom, there's a chance that you can ask questions, and probably after each presentation, we will go through these questions that you have. Perfect. Okay. Jesus, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good evening for all the floor. I will share the screen. Okay. Thank you very much to the section of surgery for the kind invitation to take part in this webinar. My name is Jesus Villar, as said the Professor Jim. I'm the treasurer of the Division of Endocrine Surgery, and I'm the head of department of the surgery in Hospital Universitario Virgen de las Nieves in Granada. And we have discussed in the Division of Endocrine Surgery about what kind of topic could be of interest for the whole surgical community, and we have decided to talk about a topic about a project that aims to share our procedures to improve our results, and that's Eurocrine. So in short, Eurocrine is an international endocrine surgical quality registry in the European region with a special focus on rare tumors. The objective of this registry is to raise clinical standards of care and reduce differences in practice in this area of the surgery to obtain a reduction in morbidity and mortality in endocrine processes and tumor. Regarding the history of Eurocrine, it began around 2010, and after a first attempt, the idea got funding as a research project within the health program of the European Union in September 2013. The project has a length of 39 months, and in this period, the registry was online for the first time with the first patient in March 2015. The project finished in March 2017, and after that, Eurocrine moved to a model of society that was officially founded in January 2019. It's a non-for-profit organization registered under the laws of Austria for societies, and the owner is really the Skåne region, the county council of the Skåne region in Sweden. What about the structure? The structure, Eurocrine consists of two parts. The first one is the partner societies. In this moment, there are 14 national endocrine surgical societies. You can see the countries and the association in each country that are included in the Eurocrine Council, also the European Society of Endocrine Surgeons. The responsibilities of this council is the development of the database, the analysis of the research application that can emerge, and for the societies, it has a cost of 1,000 euros per year. The national societies has the duties of to develop or not a specific national set of variables and to design some mechanism for national quality control. This is the contact for the coordinator of Eurocrine, and this is how looks the council in the Eurocrine page. Professor Scott Coombs is the chairman and is the past president of the European Society of Endocrine Surgeons. Professor Bergenfeld is the real promoter and the first person that had the idea to create this kind of registry, and currently is the COO of the society. There is also two committees, the data management committee and the research committee, and the other people are all national representatives of the scientific societies. This is how can see the rising number of operations included in the database, and currently they pass the number of 130,000 operations, and the number of clinics are accordingly increasing, and currently we are more than 130 clinics from 19 different countries. The database is displayed in 9 different languages and is obviously open to new translations. Regarding the functionality, the aim of the Eurocrine is to collect data on endocrine pathologies and endocrine surgical procedures with emphasis on rare diagnosis. The surgically treated pathologies included thyroid, primary and secondary hyperparathyroidism, the adrenal, paraganglioma, and gastroenteropancreatic neuroendocrine tumors. For all of them, there is a central set of variables mandatory for all participants that join the registry, but at national level, the national societies are free to include additional variables, and even the specific clinics can the option to include local variables. So the database is tailored for every unit. This is how it looks when you log in, and this is Eurocrine is a global application, and no data of patient is in the core of the database, because all the patient and procedures are represented by a pseudo ID codes, and the patient personal data and links between the patient ID and pseudo ID are only stored in every unit. The data collected are including the preoperative workup for every procedure, the indication for surgical treatment, the type and details of surgical procedures, the pathological report and follow-up data, and some kind of outcomes regarding hospital stay, readmissions, complications, morbidity, mortality, that allows you to create a self-audit. This is how it looks when you are entering demographic variables for, by instance, for thyroid operations. You can see the gender, age, basic data, including data of referral, the data of first visit to the specialist, and the date of decision or on waiting list for operation. This is how you can see the screen when you are entering data regarding the indication for surgical treatment. In this case, for thyroid procedures, including the main indication for surgery, a level of preoperative calcium, cytological report, ultrasound report, etc. This is for the case of the primary hyperparathyroidism, how you can see the page where you have to include data regarding localization techniques. This is operative details for a secondary hyperparathyroidism. And finally, in this part, you can and you have to include data regarding follow-up, complications, histopathology, and other details, in this case for adrenal surgery. And for the rare diagnosis, there is special information modules for different kind of procedures and types of lesions. For thyroid, we have a special module for medullary thyroid cancer with different details regarding the pathology. And for adrenal, there are modules specific for adrenal cortical cancer, malignant pheochromocytoma, for parathyroid cancer, for all cases of paraganglioma, and for all gastroenteropancreatic neuroendocrine tumors. The tools that allow us to add the variables at a national or local level is My Eurocrine. My Eurocrine is also allows for design observational studies and for the design of prospective or observational studies or randomized control studies. In addition, in case of multicenter studies, in this slide you can see how the screen looks when you are entering data regarding a multi-center study related to the quality of life for patients with surgery for hyperparathyroidism, primary hyperparathyroidism, and the variables are shared with all the participating sites. After, regarding the output of data, you can get your data in different ways. The first one and the most simple is when you log in the database in the dashboard of the start page. You can see some generic statistics and the amount of operations included on a continental or national or specific or local level, and the number of different procedures included, the waiting time to operation, and the length of stay for the different kind of lesions or processes. And the most refined strategy is to request a report of your own data. You can request data regarding all procedures, or only thyroid or primary HPT, secondary HPT, etc. And you have to put this button, push, and the report in the shape of an Excel file is obtained in a few seconds, and the file is ready to extract all your information and to be sent to statistical packages. But the most powerful strategy is to use the program Microsoft Power BI. And all the units that joined Eurocrine has a license to enter in this powerful network platform, which allows you the generation of reports and the graphical representation of data right away at any time of the day. You can get in your laptop or smartphone in real time your clinic data with a single click, and with this very attractive graphics, and it's really impressive when you're using this kind of platform. In short, Eurocrine is a user-friendly database defined with variables defined by surgeons that allows you to access your own data in real time and export to a statistical package. And on the other hand, it allows you to make your own surveys and studies. And what can be the purposes and benefits to join Eurocrine? First of all, the benchmarking, because it's a collective benchmark for endocrine surgery within the European continent. And if you join, you are able to compare results from different surgical procedures, ranging from the more common to the more specific and rare. Second one is branding, because for an individual department, join the registry shows to the community how important is for you the quality control. Participating departments on a yearly basis are provided with some material showing their participation in the registry, and the results of your clinic are published on the homepage of the registry with contact details for patients and doctors. Third one is the evaluation of new technique. Today, the introduction of new surgical techniques is very rapid, and most often without being tested with previous randomized controlled trials. So a registry can collect large observational cohorts within a short time and provide evidence for a particular technique and data for power calculation regarding the design of a randomized controlled trials. On the other hand, it allows you generate and spreading information, because a shared quality register helps to disseminate information about surgical procedures and can help reduce inequalities in care. The fifth is allows to generate knowledge about rare procedures. It's the way to deal with these rare procedures, because through a registry it will be possible to analyze these pathologies in an European context and provide information on outcomes, and this information will serve to the surgeons and patients. The sixth is increasing of patient safety through mutual guidelines, because from a patient perspective, a quality register can increase the safety. the generated data will provide a reference to develop mutual guidelines that will increase the quality of the care and provide a common standard through Europe. And the last, but not the least, is increasing the research possibilities, as Professor McKay will explain more deeply later, because of the large number of patients and procedures that will be part of this registry. The possibilities to perform major clinical studies are high, and this is especially relevant for rare disease. Finally, and in conclusion, we think that to join Eurocrine is a suitable model for other surgical specialties. And for endocrine surgery units, joining Eurocrine is probably the right thing to do, because it generates some improvement for patients. It's good for surgeons. It strengthens the endocrine surgery as a specialty. And for that, all surgical departments are welcome to join. I return the floor to the moderator, and I'm looking forward to hear your question and comments. Thank you very much.
Oliver, you're muted.
I thought about it before I was going to talk, but then I forgot it anyway. It's a classic, I would say, despite 3 years of practice. Yes, very nice talk. Thank you very much, Jesus, for this very interesting presentation. If one of the participants has a question, just feel free to write it in the chat. At the moment, I don't see any questions, but I can start myself. How about quality control? How do you ensure that what people are punching in is correct? Is there any quality control?
Currently, the society has left the quality control to the national level.
Okay.
Because for nations with a large number of units inside the country, as in Switzerland, there is audit visit with 2 members of different units that are checking the original documents and the documents that are on the data included in the database, and really the rate of concordance are quite high. So I think is in Switzerland where this process is more advanced, but for other countries, I'm not sure about how is developed, but not. I think there is not a quality control mechanism for the whole database, for the whole society. I'm not sure about if in Sweden we have any.
Yeah, we have the same here in Sweden, actually, because this Eurocrine database register is connected to a national one that exists prior to that. I think it's actually the Eurocrine is a bit based on the national, and we also have a quality control here. Yeah, most often by seniors, sometimes retired but experienced endocrine surgeons, and I think it works quite well, yes. But I think it's important that you have something like that.
But may I add something,
Sure.
Oliver? The data management group, Thomas Muschelt is heading this group, and they're working very hard on the errors and the quality of the registry. So there are several things. So one is the data management committee. One is that one which is expressed by Jesus, and the Swiss are very superior regarding this. So that's why we tried 2 days ago to do it online with Thomas Clerici, who is the most experienced one regarding Swiss auditing. and it worked well. We could not pass because of some errors, but we are going to hold it next year. So this is again a very good quality check, actually. And on the other hand, Power BI also serves as a kind of a quality check, because if you have errors, I will show you on my slides, then it will point you out to correct.
Yeah, very nice. Another question, there's still no questions from our participants. How do you manage, or who is actually punching in all this information? Is it you? Is it your younger colleagues? Do you have specialized trained personnel? Is it nurses? Is it secretaries? Who finds the time to do all this?
It's a hard part of the units who are the person who has to put the data in the database. In our case, we are the staff of the unit that we have shared the caseload of every year, and we share the number of procedures, and we are not try to find residents or secretaries to put the data, because I think the quality of the data is the most important is how confident are the included data. So because of this, we are all the data are included only for the staff.
How is it in Turkey? How are you doing it?
Well, lessons, we have some lessons learned, actually, because we started with the input was made by a secretary. The secretary was the secretary of our endocrine surgical units, but we realized that there were big mistakes. So it's not a physician. So then we tried to do it by ourselves, but not to miss anything, we decided to print the sheets first and put it in the operating room, and then do it lively, first on the printed sheets and taking it to the computer. And after the first follow-up, just put the data in. So the doctor, the physician in charge should do it. So it can be the surgeon, the professor, or the fellow. Whether it should be a resident or could be a resident, it may be, as long as you teach him or her, but otherwise it should never be a secretary, because it really invites a lot of errors.
Okay, I see that Daniel Casanova has raised hand. I can actually try, Daniel, to give you the floor. There you are, Daniel, if you want to say anything, but you are muted at the moment.
Hi. You hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this kind of information. For me, the question is, I think it's a very good exercise of to record all the information, different kind of surgeries in the Eurocrine. But for me, the most important is the range of the quality control in different kind of surgery, because this is very important. How you analyze later from many different kind of surgery, many different kind of surgeons, the quality control, what is the range that you accept that is good or less good? For example, you know very well, because you are involved also, Oliver Green, in the the CV project, that we try to correlate the complexity of the operation with the characteristics of the patient, with the age of the patient, and also the record of the complication in different, and also in thyroid surgery. And this is really very important, at least for us, to analyze what happened with very selected surgeon, and to try to find a benchmarking of surgery in different kinds of procedures.
Of course, is a critical point. Thank you, Daniel. And in this database, you can identify the surgeons who are performing every procedure. And because of this, you can analyze the results and the outcomes of the different surgeons in the different kind of procedures, and you can find differences between among them, and even among different units and different countries. So it's possible to, with this kind of registries, to do this quality control.
Okay.
Very good. I have another question. I think we have a minute or so regarding the Microsoft Power BI. Not everyone is familiar with it, and so my question is, do you have any courses or how can you get training regarding Microsoft Power BI? Because it's an excellent, very powerful tool, as the name suggests, but I think you need some training. We need to get everything out that you can get out.
Yes. I think from 2 years ago, there is a course, a pre-congress course of Power BI in the meetings of the Endocrine Society of European Society of Endocrine Surgeons, and it's a 3-hour course, very useful to learn how to prepare your own survey. And really, I had the opportunity to attend the last year's course, and I think it was very useful for that.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay, I don't see any further questions at the moment. I think we continue with you, Josef, please.
Okay. Thank you, Oliver. You have my slides?
Yeah,
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, great. Okay, thank you. Let me introduce myself first, and then we will talk about what is there actually in Eurocrine regarding research. I'm Josef Makai. I'm very happy to be on this platform. I'm an endocrine surgeon, a professor of surgery, working in Izmir, Turkey. And I'm representing the research committee of the ESES, since I'm the chairman of this committee and also of the Eurocrine research part. And for starting, I'd like to, on behalf of the Eurocrine Council, I express our gratitude and thanks for the invitation, bringing up this topic today. So Jesus already has mentioned a lot of things. 2003 were the first examinations regarding the UEMS endocrine surgery. ESES was born, and now we have another cornerstone, which is Eurocrine, and we feel very happy to have very synergic work on the platform. Everything started with Anders Bergenfeld. So he is Mr. Eurocrine, as Jesus also showed, the COO today. And we are really very expanding with a lot of meetings and negotiations. We came up with a very wonderful, good working committee and council with a lot of countries, Jesus already has mentioned, but I am now concentrating you on the Joint Research Committee. What is actually the Joint Research Committee? Is the research committee of the Eurocrine and the European Society of Endocrine Surgery. Regarding research, we pick up a lot of things regarding the conception of a quality-based registry. So I'm not going to point out there are a lot of overlappings with Jesus' talk, but research is always there, and this increases our motivation as well. And of course, we do this research coming out of all of these countries, and today we have reached nearly 130,000 cases. And if it's about research, you can do it with your own variables, with the national variables on a national level, multi-centric, or an international level, multi-centric. So everything is possible, but as Jesus already pointed out, core variables, it's not expandable, but if you want your own national variables, you can have another added data set. Of course, regarding research, it's up to you, but you have an enormous platform to work with. So even it's about only thyroid, you can do a lot of things. So if you really think about doing a research, it's very important to concentrate on the data set, actually, on the parameters. Otherwise, because this is a database which we try to construct it as a user-friendly one, so not everything is there. So, for example, if you want to run a study regarding a long follow-up, it's not there. So that's why you need the My Eurocrine. My Eurocrine, already expressed by Jesus, it's a wonderful actual platform for every research which you want to expand. If it's, for example, about an anaplastic carcinoma, which is a rare disease in this endocrine surgical platform, then you need more data which is not only which is not available on the Eurocrine platform. So that's the raw data. You need more data regarding survival, for example, and the Eurocrine is there for you. The My Eurocrine is there for you. My Eurocrine is there for your prospective observational studies, for performing randomized controlled trials, and is again expressed for new techniques, for example, like the TOETWA, the transoral endoscopic thyroid approach, and the endoscopic parathyroidectomy via transoral approach. So these are running studies under the My Eurocrine, and it really gives some outcome. So this is a database. A registry always has some pitfalls, so it's never perfect. For example, when we run a study, the first pitfall what we face is missing data, for example, and it's really very heterogeneous. So this is a response actually to one of the questions previously. So you can design a new study, you can edit your own study, you can download study data, or of course, delete your study. Everything is possible. So what has happened until now regarding research on the Eurocrine platform? It's on the internet, on the website eurocrine.eu, which is conducted from Austria. And we have ongoing research on a lot of topics. We have already published studies, which has been published in high impacted journals. So if you really wonder what is going on, what is the product regarding research of this platform, beyond benchmarking yourself, you can find it on the internet on different topics. How can I actually extract data? Is everybody available? Is everybody allowed to extract data? Well, the committee is for that, and there is an application process. So for those who really wonder how to do it, please enter Eurocrine, check for documents for members. So that means that's the first gate which you have to open. You have to be a Eurocrine member to be allowed to extract data for a research which has been approved by the research committee. So how can I be a member? Please check again the Eurocrine website about the needs for getting a member. So if you are a member, if you have an input on the database, then you are allowed to check the documents for members. There you find data extraction for scientific studies. So what does it mean? There's application for data extraction. This is a sheet. This is filled in electronically. So we want the ABC of the project, and we do it twice in a year. And twice in a year, we gather during the council meeting. We have these negotiations and evaluations of the proposals, actually. So this is the sheet you see. And this is the sheet of the research committee members. So every single application is independently checked by the committee members, and the chairman is responsible to collect them and to merge them and then express the outcome, the intention of the committee, and then it will be finalized during the council meeting. So finalization means final recommendation. It's acceptance or revision or rejection. You can, of course, benchmark yourself, as Jesus has expressed, and this you can use for your own data as well. So if it's about, the thyroidectomy, what you have done, and if you want to report this in some way regarding research, that's possible. We already talked a lot about Power BI, so it's a very impressive platform, but we need to learn, of course, before entering it. And as far as I remember, there's also a recorded webinar regarding this, Oliver. Please check the internet for Power BI, which is there for free for every participating clinic. So Eurocrine is already a member of the Power BI. You don't have to pay more to get a member of Power BI, so it's coming automatically with your membership for benchmarking your results, for carrying out the research, for comparing your data with the national data, for example. Here are some examples of it. So this is national auditing. You can use it for your presentations during congresses or other societies. You can present your data to the hospital administration. You can use this on your morbidity mortality meetings, etc. So this is what I'm trying to say. So Power BI also helps you with checking the quality of your data. If there is an error, as you see here, it will warn you and you are allowed to check and correct. So what's more, we try to, of course, increase the enthusiasm of the young surgeons on the platform. So this is what we are going to bring again on the to the ESCS Council as well. So it's very nice to see young surgeons working together on an international platform, and we try to merge them under the Young and Eurocrine Investigative Project. So this is one of the projects we are trying to do. We try to find a grant, to name a grant actually, but with this gathering, we are expecting a product coming out of Eurocrine, a high quality one and a high qualified journal. And this is going to be announced this year, hopefully. So what is the basic aim of all these registers? The basic aim is improvement of local outcomes. We are trying to do our best with Eurocrine as well. I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Jose. This time I didn't forget to unmute myself. Yeah, I don't see any questions at the moment from our participants. And one of my questions that I had, you already answered, how you can apply to get permission to do research on this data, and so how you get access and information. But I have another question. What are your thoughts regarding ethical approval? How does it work when you have this European database or register? What do you have to do if you want to do research?
Okay, well, this is a perfect question. Ethical approval, maybe, okay, I went too fast with my slides because one of the boxes were for ethical consent.
Mm-hmm.
If it's there, or if it's not there, the investigator is warned about it to ask locally for it. So every single country has their own rules.
Mm-hmm.
But regarding ethical issues of an international study, so there are again rules. So the application needs an ethical consent on that national platform, but they should share it in English and again signed in English, and then share with the research committee.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, if it's going to be sometimes it's evolving in a my Eurocrine study,
Mm-hmm.
like we try to do for anaplastic or parathyroid carcinoma, then possibly we may share this English local national one with those clinics, but we will see.
Mm-hmm.
But until now, there was no need for that far. So an ethical consent is definitely compulsory, and you have to present it in English, and it should be signed.
Yeah, but that means, as you said, it's probably often in translation, right? Because I mean, we in Sweden, our ethical improvement boards, they do not write in English, even though they could, of course, but they only write in Swedish. So that's why you would have to translate it at least. And, it might be different in other countries, but here it is that way. Very interesting. Yeah. Do you know anything about the numbers of publications that have come out of this database so far? Eurocrine, where Eurocrine was used, where has it been published, and how many publications? Any idea about this?
Well, I didn't count the numbers of the publications, but it's actually increasing. It started with a common project with an American database, and it was actually a comparison and emerging, and so that was the first paper, as far as I remember, and it was 3 or 4 years back. ChessQuip and Eurocrine.
Okay.
So, and afterwards, collecting more data, exceeding 10,000 of cases. So that's a rich platform to study. And now we have yearly 3, 4, 5 papers. But yeah. I think it's going to increase.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the applications, what we receive is most of them, they need revisions or rejection. Rejection because what we see is even the clinics are clinics who have an input into Eurocrine. They really do not know what they can actually get from the database.
Understand. I don't see any other questions at the moment from the floor. I had one. Now I unfortunately forgot about it. Jesus, do you have any comments regarding the publications? I mean, that was my question. Has anyone dared to do comparison between countries, not in order to say we are better than you, or only to see where are differences and how can they be explained? And we are striving towards, as you said, also the register to make treatment more uniform in countries. And if we can demonstrate that maybe some investigations are not accessible in some countries, maybe we can work for that somehow. Or has there been any studies in this regard, like comparing countries more in a constructive way to help to develop?
Now, this is possible, Oliver. It's good that you point this out, because this is one of the aims, comparing countries with each other, comparing clinics with each other on a national platform. But until now, this has not been carried out. So the participating countries are expressed in the studies, but no comparisons between, on a country level, actually.
Yeah. Thank you. Jesus, anything you have to add or you would like to say? You can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted, Jesus.
Okay. I think the Eurocrine could be a perfect tool for comparing practice between countries. I agree with you in this point, because you can identify patterns of treatment, differences in policies regarding the treatment, the extension of resection or something like this in different procedures. So I think it's a powerful tool for investigate this point. And
yeah, perfect. Thank you. Before I conclude here tonight's webinar, I would also like to show you where you can find previous webinars that you might be interested in, even if you're an endocrine surgeon. There are other very interesting webinars that have already been given. It can be, you can always go through the UEMS Surgery org website and then find these webinars. And of course, as you may know, this webinar was organized by the UEMS section of surgery. It's not a scientific society. It's a society that is mainly conducting examinations and also in endocrine surgery. And here are also some examinations that you can still apply for, but only if you're a surgical oncologist or breast surgery. The endocrine surgery examen will be next month on 9th, so you cannot apply for that one any longer, but our applications will open in December again for next year. And it will be ISMIR, right?
Yeah.
Very good. So thank you very much for participating tonight. I hope you got some interesting information about Eurocrine, how it can be used, how powerful it can be, or probably can improve the quality of your own work. And I wish you a good evening. And once again, thank you very much for participating tonight.